Welcome to the Earning Freedom Program. I am Michael Santos with michaelsantos.com and prisonprofessor.com. I'm always striving to bring content that will help people who are going in the prison system, people who are in prison, people who are coming out of prison, help giving them one message. And that message is, regardless of what struggle they're facing, regardless of what challenges they have in the past, they can always come back successfully. And that's a story that I lived while going through 26 years. And today I want to validate that story by introducing you to a young mastermind. His name is Jerry Price. I profiled a little bit about him yesterday, but Jerry Price is an amazing young guy who went to prison as a young guy, spent a lot of time inside high security prisons, but that did not stop him. So welcome, Jerry Price. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from?
How you doing? I'm from West Philly, Philadelphia. The hard part of Philly, basically, West Philly. You know what I'm saying? And
from the hard part of Philly, and tell me, how did you grow up in the hard part of Philly, Jerry?
You said how?
Yeah, were you in the street? What were you doing? Were you doing crime? What was your life like?
Yeah, I was pretty much into everything at a young age. Robbery, selling drugs, like carrying guns, like everything. Like that was pretty much my life for real, the life that I created, the life that I looked up to others doing, so I pretty much emulated that.
There's so many people, Jerry, who can learn from you, because there are a lot of people in our communities who look up to gangsters, who look up to people who are involved in crime. You did that, but it didn't stop you from experiencing the pain that comes along with that, and that's a long journey through the criminal justice system. Tell us about when you were locked into the prison system and what your experience was like inside.
Yeah, I got locked up at the age of 17. And, you know, they start you off at the county jail, went down there. That was pretty much like the streets all over again, the county. You had drugs in there. You still had access to not guns, but now you got knives and stuff like that. We had access to pretty much anything that we pretty much had access to in the streets. So my mentality was pretty much the same. And on top of that, I went in there with an eat or be ate mentality. Therefore, like, I was still doing the same old things, not really learning from my mistake, because it hadn't quite hit me yet that I was about to do a lot of time in prison.
And how much time did they sentence you to?
9 to 18 years.
9 to 18 years. So you were in a state prison, and I know I said that you were in high security prisons. So you said your mindset when you first went in there was similar to the streets. You weren't ready to change your life yet. Is that right?
No, not at all. It wasn't even a thought.
Mm-hmm. And how did your adjustment? What happened to you as a consequence of going in there trying to go hard on the yard?
Whole gang warring with guards. Basically, like just spending my time in confined pretty much. So it was like
sent
jail
to the
on top of jail. A lot. Like, that's where I spend majority of my time at, in the hole.
What were you doing that would get you sent to the hole? Fighting or involved in contraband and the black market?
Fighting, contraband, arguing with guards. Like, it varied. Like, it could be something as simple as sleeping through count. And because I had that history of going to the hole, now something so small wasn't so small because I got a history of going to the hole, so it's that much easier for me.
Yeah, there's a big mindset in the prison system that says, the time still passes when you're in the hole or whether you're on the compound. But the reality is you can make more progress if you're on the compound. At least that's what I experienced while you're in the hole. I mean, I made progress. I did a lot of time in the hole also, but I was always focused on how I wanted to emerge from prison. Now, when you were in there, you were still a very young man. You had a mindset. Were you involved in gangs in any way?
No, not really in no gangs or nothing. Like, I always had the people that I messed with and the people that I didn't. It was like as simple as that. It wasn't really no gang. We can't say, squad up and all that. It was just more so like, all right, if I mess with you, then I'm going to ride with you. If not, then you can get it. It was that like type of mentality.
Okay. So something happened in your life, Jerry, because we talk to people that help people understand that the decisions that they make in prison have a direct influence on their prospects for success through prison, and especially when they come out of prison. I think in your life, I know you've come back to society very successfully, so there must have come a time in your life during that long prison sentence that you had a change of mind. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Yes, I remember it almost like it was yesterday. I remember it was June 2012, and I was in a hole again. surprisingly. And the guard came to my door and told me that my grandmother died. Now, like, while I was in there, like, this was the longest, I think, stretch that I did in the hole, for real. And when I was told that, like, I really sat back and did some reflecting on my life and, you know, what she wanted for my life. She didn't want jail. She wanted us to all grow up respectable. And it was at that moment of time where I made a conscious decision to change. Like I said, that I don't want this for my life. I don't want to be in a cell getting food slid through a little hole in the door. I don't want to, you know, live my life in a penitentiary. Like, so it kind of made a light bulb go off in my head, but I still ain't quite get it, because if you so used to doing something one way and you just think you're going to totally switch it over, that's not the way it happened, because we creatures of habit. So naturally, I fell a few more times, but I always had that thought in my head, and I was always building upon changing. So, and that probably didn't come till maybe about a year after that, like when it was like no hole. Now I'm doing good. I'm running groups. Like, I'm pretty much being positive. And at that moment, I became free. Not physically, but mentally. Like, I wasn't in prison no more. Like, and I love that.
So, Jerry, you went to prison when you were 17 years old. I take it that you probably didn't finish high school in the community. Did there come a time when you, or can you tell us a little bit about how your focus on education changed?
Yeah. Well, actually, I went through Pine Grove. Is a jail for people that went to jail under 17, and it's pretty much you can go there to 21. And in order to complete it's called the Young Adult Offender Program, you had to complete your GED along with this program. So I think I took my GED maybe about 2 times, like, and each time it was the math. The math got me every single time, but everything else, like, I pretty much ran through. And that let me know right there that, okay, maybe I'm on to something. And, you know, once I study and stuff like that, whatever, I got it. Now, but that's not where the education started. That's just when I got my GED. It was when I was at SCI Dallas.
1 second there, Jerry, because you're bringing up a very good point, that just getting the GED is not necessarily the education. And a lot of people who are going into prison, they have an opportunity to get their GED, but they just focus on getting the certificate. But as you pointed out, the certificate's not enough. You know, you said that you struggled with math. But I'll tell you this, when I was teaching these courses when I was in prison, I used to ask a guy, like I'd ask you, what's 2 plus 3?
5.
Quickly that comes to you, right? But if I pull out a GED book and I turn to the back of those pages, right, and I show those geometry program problems and those word problems, it's very difficult. But if guy's in prison and he's focusing on getting an education, and even if he doesn't have any access to it, as long as he's got that GED book, if he focuses on saying, I'm going to learn how to answer every question in this book, including those ones in the back, just as easily as Jerry Price just answered 2 plus 3 is 5, that's when a man really has an education. And that education can really help an individual when he's in prison and when he comes out of prison. As I've described in many of the books that I've written, in many of the courses that I teach, I try to emphasize to people, it's not just the certificate. It's what you've done with that knowledge. And I know you, Jerry, went on to learn a lot more than just getting a GED. And I'd like you to continue telling us that story.
Yeah. Next, it started off when I was at Dallas, and this was one of my trips in the hole. And I was reading a psychology book, and like automatically, like something clicked in my head, like, yo, like I love this, like I'm interested in this. And I later found out the reason that I like psychology is I pretty much wanted to figure out how my mind works. I'm saying, to in return try to help other people out that's similar to me. So I took a psychology course. It was a correspondence course through Stratford Career Institute. You know, basically going through the motions, because I knew that once I got out, I would want to go to school for psychology. I did that. Started off in HVAC, you know, just so I can go ahead and get a trade under my belt, building trades. But the one thing that interests me was like psychology. I just love the way the human mind works, because it's so sophisticated and complex that like nobody could quite figure it out. So I wanted to be the one that, you know, at least at the very least, know my thoughts, feelings, and actions.
That's a pretty impressive message for a man who's still in his early 20s, who went into the prison system at 17 years old. And that's why I find it so inspiring, Jerry, for you to share that message with our audience. But there's also another takeaway in there that you just spoke about, and that is that you also studied HVAC, and you studied construction trades, and you studied all these other areas. Those are areas that your early GED work with math and communication skills and reading and writing, all of that contributes to whether you want to be a tradesperson. Because although you found the sweet spot is psychology and developing the mind, there's a lot of guys in there that find that they're really good with their hands, not just for fighting, but also for tools and for figuring out how to put pipes together and run wire and pull wire or put up walls. And there's a great career out here for guys who can do that. But it all really begins with them getting the skill set just to pass the GED. Because if an individual can do those types of math programs that we just spoke about, an individual can then look at a blueprint, figure out what type of materials is he going to need to figure out to do a job. What is he going to? How much paint is he going to need to paint a building? And all that type of intellectual work is maybe not the same as studying psychology, but it certainly leads to a great job. And a great job, a guy who can do a great job is always going to be able to overcome that criminal past, that criminal background when he goes and speaks with an employer. So I do like to emphasize that although some people are going to be like you, Jerry, and be able to read the books and learn how to write eloquently and communicate eloquently like you do, but other people are just going to say, you know what, my real skill set, my gift from God is that I know how to use tools. I know how to drill holes in walls. I know how to run wire, or whatever the case is. You did both at a young age when you were living in really difficult circumstances, and that's why you're so inspiring, and I hope that our audience will continue to learn from you. But tell us again about how you grew after you became exposed to psychology.
Yeah, and before I do that, I want to speak on one thing that I'm very big on is knowing yourself, and finding what you love and mastering it. Saying you don't got mastered to the point that you know every single thing about it, but at least try to get to know your craft. You know what I'm saying, and try to be the best at it. Because at the end of the day, like you said, everybody is not don't work with their mind. Some people work with their hands, and that's great. I came across so many men in there that could do so. I'm talking about from maybe just drawing, making up the cars that we send our families and stuff like that. Other dudes that can build something and all. It's a lot of people that mastered their arts in there and behind them walls. And I say come out here and put it to use, because there's a market for pretty much everything out here. Social media is winning. The internet is winning. Information is everything.
Mm-hmm. You got that right. So you went on to study psychology and then reading and writing. I know that you read a lot of books, but then you did something that's really impressive. It's something that a lot of people say they want to do, but not everybody can do it. You did something special, and I want you to tell us a little about that. I want you to actually pick it up in your hands, show it to us, but tell us a little bit about where you evolved, how you became, I don't even want to use your words. I want you to tell us. What you did after that psychology?
After that, I wrote a book. Now,
what? Wait a minute.
I wrote a book. I did it.
Starts selling drugs, goes to prison, goes hard on the yard, and you end up writing a book? Tell us about that.
Yep, I wrote a book. This book is my new beginning. I want to say that, my new beginning. The reason being is these are some of my deepest thoughts and feelings in this book. I really ain't want to put a lot of that stuff in there, because I don't really like people trying to figure me out or know what I'm going through. I like to hold stuff in sometime, because, I grew up expressing your feelings was a weak emotion. Now, as a man, I realize that, expressing your feelings make you more of a man and more, better at communicating what you're going through. But going through the process of writing this book, I was afraid to show it to the world because of some of my thoughts and feelings, knowing it was wrong. So I did it in a creative way where, okay, I'll take you through the process that I was going through, but I wouldn't end it right there. You know what I'm saying? So I end with some type of hope, some type of empowerment, some type of thing that'll motivate somebody else to become great. And the book is creative writing, it's poetry, and it's here. Even in the dark, the sun still shines. And
So wait a minute. The title of the book is Even in the Dark, the Sun Still Shines. It's written, the author is by Jerry Price. And where can people buy that book, Jerry?
it's available on Amazon. You can download it on Kindle, or you can follow me on Instagram, which is going to be up on the page. And, hit me up, and I'll try to do it myself.
You've got all the ways that you can contact Jerry Price, and you can follow him on Instagram and send him an email and support his work. Do you have a Twitter account?
No Twitter.
No Twitter yet. How long have you been free, Jerry?
For a year and 3 months. So about 15 months.
For a year and 3 months. And that was after how much time in prison?
9 years.
9 calendar years. So about more than half of your life, you've lived in prison at that time, just like I did. I was in prison for 26 years, and I went in as a young man, didn't come out till I was, as some would say, an old man. But I still got a lot of love for all the people who are going through the criminal justice system and who are in prison. And it's my passion to try and help them come out like you, Jerry, with a good, positive attitude and a belief that they can overcome struggle, a belief that they can still become successful in society. You're living proof of that. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about how you were able to take the words that were in your mind, have them come onto a piece of paper, have that piece of paper turned into a formatted book, have the book published, have it marketed on Amazon. Walk us through a little bit through your amazing entrepreneurial mind as a businessman.
Well, it started with maybe around Pine Grove. So I would say maybe about 2007, when I took this creative writing class, and I automatically became interested in it for real, because with writing in English and stuff like that, they have rules that you have to abide by. You can't just write any type of way, but creative writing is no type of literary rules at all. So you can pretty much put any word where you want to put it. You can put a comma where you want to put it or not put it. A period don't have to necessarily go where it's supposed to go. But you can switch it up with the way that you talk. And I found that I express myself better poetically. So at first, I started off with copying other people's stuff and just switching up the words and putting my own words, but using their rhythm. And then along the line, I developed my own. And I wasn't even thinking about a book. It wasn't until one of my good buddies, Big Snoop, he's also an author too, South Philly chick. We was doing these, we had this block at Dallas. It was called the Recovery Unit. And basically that block was inmate ran, and it was people being self-motivated. And every Friday we had this pretty much, it was almost like a talent show for real. People would come and rap. People would come and do poetry. Whatever they had to bring to the table, we let them come there and we gave them the platform to perform. And I said one of my poems. Then afterwards, yo, I never knew you did poems. Why you ain't tell me? Why you ain't tell me? I'm because that's my personal stuff for real. But, everybody else was going, so I ain't want to be left out, whatever, sitting there the only one that didn't say nothing. So after that, we started vibing and kicking it on that level. Yo, listen, man, you might as well put all that into a book, publish it. I'll show you the way. I'll help you out. I'll put you in contact with the right people. And sure enough, before I wrote another poem, I said, all right, I want to see how serious this guy is. So he contacted his publisher, told her about me. She said, all right, go ahead, send me some of your stuff. Let me see what you got. I sent it to her. I want to say maybe about a week later, she sent me the contract and everything and said, let's do this. And that was in prison. Let's do this.
That's impressive, young man. So you were able to find a publisher, get your book out into the marketplace. And was your book published before you even got out of prison, or did they publish it when you got home?
Nope. 3 months before I got out of prison, it was already published and available.
And tell me about how you felt when you got the mail call and there was your book inside. Tell us a little bit about what that experience was like.
They usually do mail around count time, right? Now, I was the black representative and all that. It was the main black rep, and then I was under it, whatever. I was a delegate. And it was around count time. So once they count, they come around the book. And we actually, on this recovery block, which was almost like an honor block, we could unlock our own door and open up the door on there. And when I got that in the mail, I literally ran down the tier, like, and banged on everybody's door, like, yo, look. They're like, what's that? My book. What you mean, what's that? That's my book. And everybody like, let me see it. I'm like, no, wait till I show everybody first. But I felt great because I felt like I accomplished something. Like something that was worth, something that was mine, and no matter what, nobody could take it away.
You not only felt like it, you absolutely did accomplish something, Jerry, and by writing the book, Even in the Dark. What is it again? Even in the Dark?
The sun still shines.
The sun still shines. And with the fact that you wrote this book, you're really being the change that we want to see in the world. I'm sure that you inspired a lot of other young men to realize, wow, I may be here in prison. I may have made some bad decisions. I may be in trouble right now, but if I follow the leadership of Jerry Price, I can become something more than what I am right now. I can become a leader in my community, not only a leader in my block, not only a leader in my cell block, not only a shot caller in prison, but a leader in the broader society, a leader in the world. You know, not only being happy because I'm in an honor dorm and I got a little key that allows me to unlock my cell door, but you've got the strength in your mind, and you know it, that you can come out here into society and unlock all kinds of doors, opportunities for good credit, opportunities for business, opportunities for having a great, strong family relationship, opportunities to inspire young people, opportunities to contribute to old people. There's just no limit to what an individual can do if they follow the mastermind principles that Jerry Price lived. That's why I'm so honored that you took the time this morning, Jerry, and share your story with the listeners of Earning Freedom podcast and webinar. I really want to encourage more people to reach out to you, and that's why I want you to be looking at this information that we got right up here at the top of the screen. We've got Jerry's email address. We've got Jerry's Instagram handle. And if you want to reach out to him, if you want to support his work, I really want to encourage you to buy his book. Show the picture of your book again, Jerry.
There you go. Even in the dark, the sun still shines.
The sun still shines. And that is the product of one man's desire and drive to become something more than past bad decisions. That's what the Earning Freedom program is all about, is recognizing that there has to come a time when you draw a line in the sand and you say, I am done with criminal thinking patterns. I'm done with hanging out with people of the wrong mindset. I'm going to start preparing for success. And tell us, when you came back to society, what was your receptivity like as a result of you making this shift in your mindset, the shift in your pursuit of accomplishments? Tell us how society responded to you when you came back into society after 9 years of imprisonment, when you started when you were only 17.
Yeah, now 17 to 26 and just coming home. I actually requested to be sent to the halfway house, even though it was a strong chance that I already was going to go there anyway. But I requested to go there because I've realized, and I've seen so many people come back said, like, yo, like it was just too much. So I wanted that little stepping stool. You know, I wanted to take everything a step at a time. So in the halfway house, that allowed me to get all my paperwork, re-register back to the city, get my permit, apply to school, you know. So, but it was hard because everything was different. I mean, like everything changed because now everywhere you go, like back in the day, it used to be people actually talking and conversing, you know, things of that nature, laughing and smiling. You always seen a guy trying to flirt with the girl. But now when I came home, everybody was like this in their phone. And like, I didn't really know how to adjust to that. When I came home in the halfway house, we allowed to have cell phones, just can't have a camera on it. I had a regular flip phone that I barely knew how to work for real. And just like learning to become social again, because when you locked up for a long time, like you take on this mentality of like you almost train yourself to be cold. Now, not cold in the sense of you just a cold-hearted person who don't care about nothing, just in the sense that you try to shut down your emotions so that you can't feel, so that you can deal with it right now and, you know, pretty much get through prison. So it was kind of hard for me to start, like, you know, feeling again. start, getting used to talking to regular people, because in the jail, like, you got people that's like you for real, which we consider antisocial. So conversating again with pro-social people that can't relate to you or to your story, or might even look down on you. And it was weird because I've always been an outgoing person, and I was fast to tell my story to anybody. Like, anybody that listen, I tell them my story. Like, I would never try to hide it. And people would look at me like what? You don't look like it. You look young. But now I don't get those weird faces no more, because for the most part, they know me now. They know my personality, and it's working for me. But in the beginning, it was hard. It was definitely an adjustment, even though I came out here with a mindset that I'm going to change. Because coming out here with a mindset versus doing it's different.
I think that your confidence in being able to communicate here is because you've built a level of pride in your life. You're able to tell people, I want you to look at me and judge me not for the bad decisions I made that put me in prison, but rather the way that I responded. You see, you've made it. You said that once your grandmother died, you started looking and saying, I don't want to be in the penitentiary. I don't want to be in prison anymore. And then you may have fallen down a couple of times, but you said, I'm going to develop my mind. I'm going to develop my skills. As a consequence of that, you end up finding a love and a passion for psychology, a love and a passion for communicating, realizing that you have a gift and a talent to use language to connect your thoughts with people. And then you took the discipline to write it all out, find a publisher, bring your books to market. People started to believe in you. All of this are the lessons that we teach in the Earning Freedom Mastermind course. And you are a living, breathing example that regardless of what bad decisions you've made in the past, what challenges you face today, you can always become something more. And I'm so grateful to you for sharing this story with our audience. We kind of come to the end of our program, though, and I'd like to ask, is there any final words that you'd like to share with our audience besides promoting that great book of yours?
I was going to try it. No,
I want you to do that. No, absolutely. But besides showing your book, and I hope you'll show it again, tell us if you got some guidance. What type of words would have come and had a meaningful impact on your life back when you were 17, 18 years old, first going into the system? What would you have liked to have known then that you know now?
I would have said, like, from the jump, like from the beginning, from the start, to just like reflect, because I never really took time to reflect. Now, if me going in there at 17, if I just would have reflected on some things and thought, really sat down and did some thinking, I would be like, dang, like, this is no way for any human to live. So just that start, that reflection brings awareness. So if I would have just reflected and actually thought about my actions and what I was doing and the harm that I was causing, then, like, consciously, I probably would have made a decision.
Well, you got a bright future ahead of you, young man, and I hope that you will continue to bring pride to every formerly incarcerated person, showing people that regardless of where you came from, you can become something successful. That's what you are, and I'm so grateful and proud to have you on this show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome.